quarterback duel. Justin Herbert, thoughts on his game? 'Cause you're eerily quiet on him because it's hard to blame him when he doesn't have Mike Williams, but at the same time, you need to understand you need to bleed the clock all the way down. It's just a basic
Yeah.
football IQ thing. And then Trevor Lawrence playing one of the worst games in the first half and then the best game of his career in the second half.
Yeah. So I'll talk about Herbert first. Herbert, if we're talking about the game, I don't think he played a bad game. I don't think there was anything that he did that would have caused the blown lead. Here's what I will say: a criticism of Justin Herbert that was highlighted this game, but also an issue that I've had with him and throughout his career. Yes, he's had bad coaches, and yes, he's had maybe some offensive coordinators with questionable play calling. Joe Lombardi was fired today.
Right.
But my problem with Justin Herbert, and something that I love about someone like a Mahomes or an Allen or a Brady or a Burrow, all these guys, is that there's a leadership quality to them. And I feel like Herbert is somewhat of a yes man. Like, they call the play and it's just the play that he goes with. He doesn't read the play. He doesn't say, okay, well, maybe this is a better play, I'm going to audible out of it. I've never seen Herbert audible out of a play when maybe he should, because a fucking screen on 3rd and 8, that's stupid. You shouldn't be calling a screen, especially when you're trying to push the ball down the field. And you're Justin fucking Herbert. Justin Herbert can definitely push the ball down the field. I just feel like there's a little bit of a yes man in Justin Herbert that I don't really like. As far as this game, I mean, he completed his throws and, I don't think he played a bad game, but I don't think in a playoff game like this where you're losing momentum, I think audibling out of some plays, making some tough plays when you need to, I just really don't think he showed his dog mentality that he definitely has in him. He just didn't highlight. So, and then as far as Trevor Lawrence, I mean, there was a couple interceptions that I don't think were all him. Like the first interception of the game, just a great play overall.
One of them was pass interference. That's not my saying. It just hugged the guy and then jumped off the route.
Yeah. But the 4 picks, definitely an ugly half. And I was like, Trevor, you're looking, you started off 4 of 16 with 4 picks, QBR 0. It was gross. It was a really bad start.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought I was about to talk about this game saying Trevor Lawrence played the worst playoff game I've ever seen in my life. Because 4 picks in the first half, he was on pace to have 8 interceptions, which is the most in NFL history. I'm like, this is horrible. This is going to be an awful game for Trevor.
Yeah.
We talked about the legacies and the impact of what this game meant to both of these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And then Trevor Lawrence said, you know what? Game's not over. 4 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah.
And he's in conversation, the 4 picks, someone like a Ben Roethlisberger and a Peyton Manning are in that same conversation. So
yeah,
for me, this kind of reminded me, Trevor Lawrence kind of reminds me of Peyton Manning at this point.
Really?
Because he's had, he had that ugly playoff performance in the first half, but then that second half, he lights him up. He turns things around. Trevor Lawrence showed guts in this game. He showed that he's a leader. He showed that he's unfazed by something that, 27-0.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. My mentality, if a 27-0, I'm like, fuck, we're fucked. We're screwed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
But Trevor Lawrence, to be unfazed, he comes back. He gets 4 touchdowns, 2 for 288. The second half of this game recovered him, and which is why now, if we're talking about the quarterback rankings, I have to put Trevor ahead of him.
Ahead of Herbert.
Yeah.
Do you think he played a better game than Herbert?
Well, in the second half, he did.
I have a hard time because we ripped Mac Jones apart, and he had 3 touchdowns and 3 picks. But I feel like the difference with that is it was a high-stakes playoff game. Mac Jones turned the ball over, and it wasn't like all at the same time. It was more at the worst inopportune time because 2 of his picks, I was like, oh, my God. He has 2 picks in the first 5 minutes of the game, and I'm like, well, he's throwing them early enough where they kind of could recover. So I don't know. I just had a feeling that they could stay in the game. And then Justin Herbert in this game, it's like, if you're that guy, you're that quarterback, you're up 4 scores. It's your first playoff appearance. You've played 3 years in the NFL. This is the first time getting to the playoffs. You have the advantage. Trevor is seemingly reeling in the first half. You just have to make that play because you had the ball in the red zone twice off those turnovers, and then you settled for a field goal. It's like, for me, Herbert can run, and I feel like Herbert should have been using his legs in this game. Herbert should have been doing a little bit more, and I don't even care if Herbert turned it over just for the sake of pushing the ball down the field because Trevor had a bunch of turnovers in this game, but you have to press the issue at some point if you're that guy. I've seen Joe Burrow take over games. I've seen Lamar Jackson with bad coaching take over games, even in the playoffs, and win. I've seen Ryan Tannehill do it and take over games. So it's like at some point, I need to have Justin Herbert have one of those big moments where he leads a comeback in the playoffs until I can really believe in him. So it's like him versus Trevor. Trevor just leaped over a few guys because the fact that no memory, 4 turnovers, just completely out, and then he came back. It reminded me a lot of just Andrew Luck and how he played. I don't think they have the same style. I feel like Andrew Luck's a lot more aggressive and Trevor Lawrence is a lot more passive, but boy, is he a killer on the football field.
Yeah.
And I feel like just his running ability, say it again, he's 6'6". And one thing that this year in the NFL has showed us that if you have a tall quarterback who can play the position well and see over the defense, that's the prototype that you want. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. These are all the guys in the playoffs who are making a big impact. And